Hello, sports fans around the world, and welcome back to the NRL SuperCoach BDE Podcast. We are the best draft experts here to announce the one and only Queenslander. Queenslander, get amongst it, Todzer. You're bloody full of that New South Wales spirit, and we're not here for it, mate. How are you?
Yes, mate, good. We're in the blue of Chelsea today. The boys yesterday morning securing European football. Big final tomorrow, but also in the blue to support New South Wales, mate. Looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be a good one.
Wow, mate. Fair play. It is going to be an exciting game, and also go Liverpool to Liverpool fans out there. Well and truly wrapped up, well in advance of any crappy fighting for Champions League places. Who even cares, honestly? All right, mate. So, listeners, our man Simo is doing the wonderful fatherly thing and just a bit tied up early. We'll hopefully get him on board shortly to offer his expertise. Todzer and I will do our best to bring you the content that you crave. Welcome to our live listeners who've joined in. Look at those numbers. Speaking of the devil, I think we've got the man himself. I won't say the myth and the legend because you all know who he is. Here he is. Simo, you're live, mate.
Smell that
There
origin
he
in
is.
the air, boys.
There he is, mate. I was just saying you're absentee, and here he is, coming in from the clouds to make it 2 Queenslanders versus 1 dirty cockroach. Good on you, fella.
Very good, mate. That's the way it should be. How good's Origin Eve, boys?
Oh,
Nothing
very
bad.
exciting, mate.
Isn't
It is. It's good gear. Even the missos now, devout league fans, like, how exciting is it going to be tomorrow night, babe? And I'm like, yep, this is good from you. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Very good.
All right, so we do have some team lists to look at around that, and obviously, boys, from a super coach perspective, the concern is which of our studs are going to back up and which are in a bit of strife. So what I'd like you to do, as I'm throwing out some names here to you, give us the odds of whether you think they'll back up and potentially at least a reason to throw with it. So very important, and that would mean throughout this potty as well, who are potentially their replacements should they miss, in case there's some little handcuffing options should you have the bench space. You get the brief there, Todd Meon?
Yes, mate. I got the brief. Wrote it down on my
Good
piece
stuff.
of paper. I'm all in on it.
Good
I'll
man.
forget it.
Love it. And Sim, I know we've done this many a time before, old son. So assuming he's not frozen still, there he is. He's back.
No,
Very good.
I'm here.
But you're just captivated by my voice there, mate. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Moving straight along. Dragons v my Knights. Just going to say some commentary. I'm wearing the kit. It does amuse me greatly whenever it all of a sudden anoints that KP's terrible. Let's sell him. It's all about him, evidently. Put, Fletcher Sharp at fullback. We'll just suddenly win. The 2 weakened teams that we've played to get our W's recently really tell a story. Most should have beaten that Panthers side last week. Let's be fair. They were absolutely abysmal. Panthers may be gone. Todd and I was saying, Simo, do you agree? They're not going to get their wins through this origin period, mate. They'll be leaving it late.
Yeah, they are leaving it late. At the end of the day, though, they're only 2 wins outside the 7. The 8. So I don't know. I still back them, but they're going to. It's a really hard question to answer because it's the fact that we're even talking about it means that they are in dire straits at the moment. But to your point before about that team they put out in the weekend, that was just the New South Wales Cup Panthers. That was a shocking side and played that way too. Like, credit to Newcastle for taking full advantage, but it's amazing just to see like Fletcher Sharp just was a level above and just single-handedly won the game alongside Dylan Lucas. So yeah, but as for the Penny Panthers, they're going to have to back these guys up after Origin because they need the wins. I think it'll be a common theme, actually.
I think so, mate. Some of the better sides aren't yet entrenched in the top 4 and even top 8. So similar to the Broncos on their slide, like hopefully that's good news for Payne Haas, etc. So
yeah, let's
rip in anyway. I still think it's not a bad time to own some of these attacking Dragons players. A bit nervous about Val Holmes straight off the bat, Todzer. I'd be having a CTW to behind him, like a 5th choice, because I think he's a little bit touch and go this stage of his career.
Yeah, well, I was just writing down when you mentioned about, Origin players and they're playing. I'll put Val as a 50-50. Just, it seems like one of those ones where he could easily not back up. Like, he's a bit like that. So I would be looking at someone else in this first game 2 days after Origin. Like, it's a pretty tough backup.
Yeah, I think so, mate. And staying with you here, Todd, and your beloved Dragons, Christian Tuipulotu
He's
is back. If dropped, which I doubt with the average he had. I know Simo's not been the biggest fan. I understand the reasons. But on the left edge of this, Dragons side, against the Knights, this is a green light special, mate.
Oh, show me the money every day of the week, baby.
Yeah.
Just he's going to go over for at least one here. He's a likely type, tackle buster, love to try. Here we go. I love Christian Tuipulotu, man. I love how arrogant he is with the money thing. I get it. Yeah, I love it.
Bop. I love that. I'm all about this. Picture, blap. Like, big fan.
Yeah.
All right, I'm all about it, mate. I think he's one of those easy, low-hanging fruit ones. If he's sitting out there, go spend your coin. Like in King Tongia, he'll be out there. Simo, he showed a bit in the first game, didn't do much the second. But again, if there's a matchup you can get a little excited about, chances of hitting a little bit upside here probably not horrible.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. Like, the kid seems like he's got a bit of game about him. So if you're the hard thing is being first game in the round, like, you're probably playing him over a lot of other guys that you normally wouldn't. But the fact that the Dragons have a pretty good schedule rest of the way, I think he needs to be on a roster. So yeah, don't hate him as a pickup and potential start if you're really desperate, because as you said, the matchup's really, really good.
Burton owners, potentially number one option, I would say, as 5'8", pretty close. The other one worth mentioning, Simo, staying with you, is a player that you and I have long since admired and love for SuperCoach purposes, because boy, can the kid offload when he's on. Is it the season of I Love Lucy, mate? Here we go.
I knew you were going to bring Lucy up again. You've had a few dabbles this year across a few leagues. And
come on, man. Come on the journey with me. It's his time.
I just knew that this would be coming, this question.
Hang on. I'll awkwardly lick my lips for the listeners. Love that, Lucy. Yeah.
Well, that's what we want to see. Jeez. Look out.
Oh, the viewership just shot up triple. Yeah, awesome. Yep.
Yeah, look, we've got me on the close-up as well, so let's not get it, we're going to turn a few listeners off before the way. But yeah, look, he's worth a roster for sure. Potential low-end waiver even, if you need him in the 2RF. Yeah, I'm not going to go as heavy as I would in previous seasons, because he's definitely carrying a bit at the moment, old Loose, but he's still got that offloading game and has got pretty silky skills with the ball for a guy that big. So don't hate him as a pickup. Would rather not start him straight away. I'd rather see it first if I could help it. But, if you've got to start him, I don't hate it either. But, as I said, I'd rather not. But good schedule for the Dragons will also help. So plenty of upside in Lucy.
Likely 3 middles here on the bench as well with Little. I just think the bench is favourable too, so that the 60 minutes of Lucy here could be very good for those who are desperate in need of 2RF cover. And 2RF's not been as good as it looked. Let's be real. There's people that are scrambling a little bit. Todd, I know you're one, even in a league of record with a really good side, good record. You need to bolster. So potentially
for sure.
one for you. Over to my Knights. Kyle McCarthy, just going to bring him up here. Anything about it, Todd Mount?
Oh, not a whole lot. Like, it's pretty hard to take a small sample size against the Panthers, and he looked it's not for me anyway.
That's really it for the Knights in terms of waiverable options. G'day, Cal. I will get to your question once we bring up the second option, mate. I'll bring that up for you. Love the question. Matt Croker playing 13. I know if Meso's about, there's a little bit here, Todza, with the FRF eligibility and the long-term injury. Poor Elliot, you never want to hear bicep or pec. Tell you what, mate, there could be a favourable FRF2 out of Croaks.
Yeah, don't mind. I think one of these sort of benchy front rowers is going to get some decent minutes. We've seen Matty Croker in the lock before for short stints. I wouldn't be surprised if Frizzell moves back there pre-game and Croker goes into the front row, but we've seen that Matty Croker can get some minutes past that 45-50. He can actually do some decent stuff with PPM. So I actually like the free agent stab, or even if you're needy at the FRF2 and you got the 10th waiver, put it in, see if you can get him. So
Yeah, good bye schedule as well for the Knights should be taken into account here. Any quick love for Thomas Cant? I flirted with stashing him last week, Simo, and just kind of even felt he might be more than just one injury away, and it kind of looks like it's been proven. But he's worth free agent just in case he comes into 13, right?
Yeah, actually, I think in hindsight, if I was you, I would have been hoping that I'd held him, given this, because I think he's still more than a Hail Mary shot at coming into that starting 13. And if he does, like, well worth a start, and will be really good rest of season if he does end up locking down that spot. No pun intended. But the fact that they play the first game of the round is just perfect for free agency, because you pick him up. If he ends up not getting elevated into the starting team come kickoff, you flick him on to someone else. But if he does, then you're just laughing. So really good free agent play with Tommy Cant.
I hear you, mate. I just can't believe that you would say that when I got to see Leah Tower score 20 points and then get dropped the next week. I don't know why you think I'd be upset with that, so thanks for that.
I didn't even notice that's what you did.
Titans versus Storm moving right along. Thanks, Simo. Self-burn. Exciting to see Jalen de Groot go in and not do a lot with it. I think Brimson owners out there have just vomited when they've seen this, because they look like a red-hot chance that they were going to be better with foreign in the halves, mate. Todd.
Oh, look, this is...
Get away, Simon. Go, Todd.
You go, Simon.
Go.
G'day, Cal.
G'day, Cal.
I was just going to say...
Smooth as ever, listeners. Smooth as ever.
Yeah, look at us go. With the Titans, look, we knew that this was probably one of the bigger issues with them coming into the season. Like, we, as a collective here on the potty, we were all about the Titans, and especially talking up how good they were going to be at Seabus and attacking footy and all this and that. And we have been, for the most part, been wrong, because they've had a crap year in terms of wins and losses. But obviously the big players there have been good still. But as it pertains to guys like Brimson, who needs, look, he's had a good season, don't get me wrong, Brimson, but to hit his Supercoach upside, he really needs to be in the one jersey. And we've just known that the Titans' issue was always going to be that when they do lose games, what's Des going to do with their lineup? It's going to chop and change all the time. And we've seen it now in the space of only a fortnight. So obviously Des has seen something there to make him think that, no, we need Brimson back in the 6, and obviously de Groot in the 1. It could easily change next week. Like, they come out and get pumped again. Well,
which they will,
yep. Like, Brimson's every chance of going back there the week after. So he's just one of those guys, like, if you want to keep rolling him out and starting him, that's fine. But the real upside here is stashing Brimson, hope that he gets the 1 for an extended period of time at some point. It's just going to be near impossible to know when it's going to be. It's just, the chances are it's going to be as soon as you drop him. That's the sad thing about Supercoach.
Players that may have been dropped in the bye week. So I'm just going to list a few of them. And if they're just an auto claim, so just say waiverable, Tots, or pass.
Okay.
Filthy Philip Sammy.
Waiverable. Low end.
Mo Fott.
Waiverable, low end. Mid to lower.
Sam Verrills. Tricky one.
I think he's waiverable. It depends. Yeah, he probably is based upon what he's been doing. Probably waiverable, low end. But
okay.
I'm not frothing it.
I think that's it for the Titans. Storm, there's a few interesting ones here. So there's Grant Anderson, who's been pretty good. I still think he's better as a winger than a centre. But the average is still up there. Sim, I'll give you a crack at these. Grant Anderson.
I wouldn't waiver, but I'd look to free agent. If he's on the wing, I'd waiver.
Yep, agreed. Utugamanu?
Yeah, low end. If I was needy in the front row. He's been pretty ordinary this year. If you play the buys, I wouldn't waiver.
Sean Blaw.
Yeah, I would mid to... no, probably just low end.
I think
similar to Stefano.
Liero would have been dropped in a few leagues after he got picked for Origin. Low end.
Oh yeah, I'd have Liero above the other two Storm that we just mentioned.
Okay, all right. That's really it. I mean, Josh King, just free agent if you're desperate at front
We
row.
haven't
but
put into
hopefully
no
not that
boys
desperate.
like with Sewer and Grant Anderson, Jack Howarth back in the extended.
He
So
is, mate.
every chance Anderson goes back to the wing and Sewer drops out, or I mean, I think it's wrong that way, but whatever.
Seems to be the preference there, Todd, just for that
Yeah, it does.
defensiveness against the better teams. I mean, if ever he was just going to let the young fella have another chance to run riot, it would be this game. You would think.
Yeah,
Play far longer until you can't anymore.
pretty
And
much.
given that he comes into for any backline member, including Pappen, he's really a must own as long as you can for the rest of the season. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think you really want to have him on your roster.
Do we think that all the Melbourne boys back up?
I've read some mail now, just general mail, no special inside gossip about Xavier Coates' load being managed a little bit, given Touchwood he's been injured many times around Origin time. Up to date, I'm knocking wood hard, owners, because this is his best season to date. Wouldn't surprise me. You know, Money wants to back up, even though they've got Wishart as a ready-made replacement. So, Harry Grant's got to be a big
Surely
one.
Grant doesn't.
I've
Surely.
got Grant down as he doesn't. No way.
I'd be shocked. Garlick's been pretty good for them, and he's only against the Titans. I'd be putting some other plans. To be honest, if Garlick's just sitting out there as an FA and you've got Harry Grant, that's far from the worst.
Yeah, it reeks of a week of Harry Grant being like one of those mega traps after Origin. Like these guys come back from Origin, play, and then you wish they didn't because they only play like, sub 50% of the minutes that they normally would. Like he could come and play 30 minutes off the bench or something stupid, start the game, go off, and then Storm pump him so he doesn't go back on. That sort of storyline could happen.
If I had to wager, I'd say Garlick starts, and it's just a matter of whether they need Grant or not. That's for me.
Yeah.
Jack Howarth, really quickly, boys. He's not particularly someone I'd be too keen to start as a CTW for rest of season, but he has been rock solid. Toddsy, your facial expression said it all there. He probably respectfully is a waiver. Storm, I believe, covered the week 18 bye, not 15, I think is correct. So you're even going a bit early on that. So I think for me, he should be owned. I think that's fine, but I can't imagine be spending more than a 9 or a 10.
Yeah, I wouldn't be ponying up. I like free agent pickup, definitely. But I wouldn't be ponying up for Howarth. He's been good real life. Just SuperCoach hasn't really worked out.
There might be too many weeks where the difference in one's SuperCoach output the last time they played versus the week after is as different as it's going to be this week. Scotty Drinkwater with a clunker for draft owners and classic owners before the bye. He's about to rip back and restore some confidence, you would like to think. So if you got Scotty Drinkwater this weekend, probably going a bit of all right. I want to just touch on their back line. So the injury to Tuolangi for at least 2 to 3, I believe. Bad for Queensland and coverage as well, I must say. But I think Cobbo's probably cheering secretly. Robert Derby, Zach Labert, Valia, Jackson Paulo. One or two of them are going to score a truckload of tries in this game. Derby stands out to me as the one you're probably pretty keen on. Just simple agreement if the boys, I'd be pretty happy to have him. Any of the others, make an argument for me, Simo.
Look at what Murray Talangi's been doing. Like, if I own Derby, I'd almost go as far to say in this matchup, pick up Jackson Paulo, gross as that's been over the last 18 months or so, or even longer. Like, start them both, just cast a big net, because I reckon there's 3 or 4 try upside in starting both wingers this week.
You'll also make the Jackson Purdue start, even though he's in 5/8, which we're not as keen on. I think you're still going to be all right there too. Surely, unless Tommy Dearden Touchwood gets a knock, he's going to be rolling in as well. Reece Robson with 80 minutes is always a red-hot chance of a nod backup. I know he's a bit of an Iron Man, but
he won't be 80 though, because Connor Watson will spell him.
Yeah, true. No, sorry, that's terrible by me. Of course he will. So if he plays 60, being the Iron Man should be okay. I think it's probably a pretty good week to start Jeremiah Nane too, if he's fit and up and about. Johnny Bateman, I have to bring
the worry for him. Nanai would be the one that, like, I'd be shocked if he doesn't start off the bench this week.
Yeah, okay.
Kai O'Donnell to run on. Nanai comes on with, he would probably only get 55 minutes, maybe. Still a good enough start. Like he'll do it. He can still do it in that time. Don't get me wrong, but probably not like as much of a smash spot as it would be otherwise.
Fair play. Johnny Bateman has to be brought up, boys. First time this season in potentially a positive light. He's got hope as a third 2RF. I know, Simo, you went there in the earlier waivers after he's dropped on Sunday. I get it. Like, he should be a startable third 2RF with an elite buy schedule rest of the way home. So how high a claim would you go, Simo?
Oh, I wouldn't like to go as high as I went this morning, to be honest.
Yep.
I don't feel like I have as much faith in him as what the wave. I spent third waiver in hours this morning, and I'd rather not. I'm not a huge fan of Johnny Bateman personally this year, but he's still shown the propensity to still hit occasionally pretty good Supercoach games, despite the fact that I think he's a little bit washed. And that says a lot about the caliber of player he is for fantasy style of player. So if he was to bounce back at all, if he bounces back to any sort of form, with the buy schedule he's got to be owned. So if you need him to RF and you play through the buys, I think he's a great guy to go and target. Ideally with a mid to low, but if you're higher up there and you can't choose your spot each week, can you? So you've got to go get the guy you want.
Yeah, I put in a claim at 6, mate, for him alongside Mo Fott, and I was just happy to get one of the two of them this morning. So I ended up with Mo Fott myself, and you got Bateman. I was happy enough. It'll do. Over to the Tigers. Going to bring him up, Todzer, because you and I are quite partial to his game, real life and Supercoach. Stafford Toa. Now, there would be a shock sent through for us truthers with Brent Naden again being picked on the bench and was subbed out the last game, which robbed him of a decent score. That makes me very nervous again, mate, to trust him.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that Stafford Toa has been one of their better ones in the back line. Like, I just think that he's going to hold that spot. He came back from a little bit of injury. Brent Naden on the bench, not overly fun, but I think he's just there for coverage. I think Stafford Toa can fire up this week. Is
he a claim though, mate? Because I know you probably own him.
Well, he's averaging. Only the last 5 years. I think he's averaged somewhere around a 55. I would be doing a mid to low tier waiver claim just on the fact that he has put up the scores this year alone. Like, he's had a couple of decent scores. Mid to low for me. But, like, again, not a guy I'm rushing to get as my top 5.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my nerves. I just think the wingers come off, and Dewey, I guess he's injury prone, but Naden makes me very nervous there. So Molofano somehow again getting another knee injury and being named. I don't want to say anymore. I don't understand any of what's going on there. It's very confusing. For those who got on Appy with my caller Bilo a couple of weeks ago, we're absolutely delighted to see again no Talon De Silva on the bench. And Appy was, if you remember before the bye, best game of his Supercoach career. I think he's someone with 80 minutes you're very excited to start. If people aren't still buying in, I think he's a decent buy low still, although given he's come off a big score, window might be shut. So, all right. Strange bench, that one, isn't it? Like, with Royce Hunt being a low minute guy, Terrell's just an 80-minute lock now. They're just asking him to play 80 no matter what, pretty much.
Yeah, imagine that.
He'll do it.
Crazy.
Isn't that correct? That really is what it is with that bench. I dare say with Pole still out, Alex Twal, he's actually been averaging closer to 55 lately. He's a reluctant and non-sexy FRF2 start that probably won't let you down, to be fair. All right, Seagulls versus the Broncos. It's a very important game. Seagulls atrocious against the Eels. My goodness. That's awful. Just absolutely terrible. Luke Brooks, we brought a nickname back, Simo. Can you remember what I used to call him back in the day?
Oh, I should know this.
You were always quite partial to this one. I shared it with Todzer over the weekend. Boy, did he live up to this title.
Was it like, I might be off the mark, it was like chop or drop or...
It was not barbecue Luke's.
He does something on the pitch regularly when the team needs him to step up most and actually do something with the ball. He shovels it along. the shoveler. He was back. He was absolutely back in full flight. They'd go, poor Arthur's, he's not supposed to be the senior half. It'd be like, hey, Brooke, look, Luke, do something. Shovel to a guy just standing dead still beside him. He did it the entire game. It was absolutely atrocious.
He was really bad this game, particularly Luke Brooks. Like, all the Tigers fans just laughing at Manly going, see, this is what happens when you trust in Luke Brooks to run the show.
It was his time. This should have been his one where he gets him to a victory against an inferior team. And I felt, that was rough. So, DCE, does he back up? Traditionally has, but he's no young spring chicken anymore, to be fair.
He's backing up. The back like that, you're backing up, maybe. Yeah,
I love it. Love the work. All right, Lehigh moves into the fullback slot. There's no waiver there. He is the guy. He's had just a great game last week as well. Been playing some outstanding footy, and hopefully, as the Turbo owner, he's your guy. All right, the rest of it. Jason Saab, he's gone back to the old ways, hasn't he? It's not happening anymore, so we won't even go anywhere near that. Tommy Talau, anything here? Broncos could be pretty easy beats again with their poor defense. Any interest, boys?
Oh, look, I don't really know if I could definitively say that the Broncos would be easy beats. I'd say they'd almost do Manly here. So yeah, I wouldn't.
They'll go in favourites, right? Surely.
Broncos, I would think so.
Yeah.
Burbo, with 100 before his week off last week, has now risen his average to the mighty mark of near mid-50s, with only one score below 40 all year. Is it finally the season of Burbo? I actually looked at his stats this week, and I'm like, shit. I hate it. I hate it so much.
For weeks, boys.
Yep. Now, given Manly
There's a
played
hill
the
you
bye
climb by yourself, brother. I'll let you know. I don't think I'm ever going to be a bench of whatever owner.
That's your loss. That's your loss.
Yeah, it's really not. It's
really 4 in the CT dub.
Kelma Tuolangi's out there. I would prefer. Holy.
Well, that's your fault, isn't it?
Don't talk to me about Kelma Tuolangi, who got benched at the last minute and broke my heart on the weekend. Broke my little heart. Jazz Tavanga. Now, he's going to be owned, Timo, isn't he? You've been onto this. He's doing it again for you. After a couple of years in the wilderness, he's come back and he's actually hitting scores here, mate. Get on.
Yeah, I'm so dirty on myself because I was all over Utah, and then Gerbo came back and he didn't start. He was named to start at lock, but then I believe he went back to the bench, and that's when I dropped him. Or maybe he played 9 and I dropped him. And then obviously Gerbo got knocked out again the week after, and then I missed my chance. But yeah, look, I think he played 80 minutes, Jazz, and just based ridiculous like he can do, and obviously still can at this age. So yeah, he's just got the really SuperCoach friendly game because he stands he can't run, like he stands in the tackle and just pops the left-handed offload out. It's just free offload points. So yeah, good start in either 2RF or hooker. He'll base a million again probably, and when Gerbo's back, he'll probably lose value, unfortunately, but ride it while it's hot.
Fire it up again this week. I like it. Over to the Bronx. So if Jesse Arthurs was dropped, now named at fullback, which is interesting, Todzer.
Very.
I think it's something to do with that Reece Walsh was a red-hot chance of playing this week, but tweaked his knee again at training, is the news that I've seen. I don't have anything confirmed there. I just think it's a bit odd Jesse's ended up going. It's like they trained with Cobbo back on the wing, and Arthurs was almost like the fill-in. Don't know, mate. Don't know how I feel about it, but is he a claim now?
Oh, I think Jesse Arthurs definitely is a claim. Just even as a 4-5 CT dub kind of guy, if he's out there, I'd be claiming a mid, even like a 3 down kind of thing, because I think he's got rest of season value. I'd assume they're doing this just to manage Cobbo, like coming back from State of Origin. You don't want to put him back in the fullback, get the legs going. Probably.
He's not playing State of Origin, mate. He's got a broken. Yeah, there was a threat of a broken wrist, which was the big news, and so apparently that's all sweet.
Yeah, so he's just back on the wing.
Just back on the wing. Just it's an odd one, isn't it? With Arthurs, I mean, obviously they just think it's better for the makeup of the side. He doesn't create much from fullback, so there's also that.
True.
Would you fire up Dean Mariner this week? Staying with you, Todd?
Yes, I would. I think Manly looked terrible. I think he can definitely get over.
Yep, fair play. All right. Now, just to tantalise us more, some guy named Redson made this advice about Xavier Willison a few weeks ago. He is back on the edge with Puakura on the bench, and the mighty Benjamin Takura, the monster himself, is loitering there. Simo, any interest in either of the two giant men based on how that bench looks?
Oh, of the two, like you can't. I mean, Takura's first game of the year, and it's probably like maximum the upside for him rest of season is just keep a bench spot. So you're not going to be that interested in him. But I mean, Willison this week in particular, like if there's any world where he can somehow start on the edge, and then obviously Haas and Carrigan having backed up from Origin, like is 80 minutes of Xavier Willison with playing a bit of middle as a rotation somewhere in the realm of possibility? Like, I don't know if he's got the motor to do it, but I could easily see that happen where Puakura comes on, plays an edge, pushes Willison into the middle to give Carrigan a spell or Haas a spell. And if that happens, he'd be pretty good this week. It would make us think about what his value would be the week after, because obviously that rotation is not going to be something that happens all the time. But yeah, for a 1 week play, I think he's a really good, especially this week, I think he's a really decent chance of getting increased minutes. So he's a pretty solid number 2 FRF this week.
Be still my aching heart, Timo. If he could get, I was just happy to hear you say that, 60 plus minutes is in contention, because I think 60 minutes of Xavier Willison on an edge with a little bit of middle mixed in, I like it. I know the PPM's not amazing, but the opportunity for him to barge over is so high. And I'm not a big fan of this Manly forward pack, so
It'd be on Ollie
should be
Kawhi's side this week, though. Yeah, like he's a left-hand player, Willison. Ollie Kawhi's on the right.
Yep.
Big task, like two big men. I'm looking forward to that battle now for sure.
I am too, and I think Todd's what he's not immune to here is if they use him and Takura at any part of the game with Haas as well potentially mixed in, just give him the pill near the try line. Like that's surely the play. So yeah, I think we're in agreement, boys. I would have him. If we've got some others there, I think again, same advice we gave is the opportunity here from a fantasy perspective to actually have someone you pump to start is too great. I've got him at least a low end claim again. I'm happy to double down.
Yeah, it's fair.
All right. Ezra, can you keep on keeping on, mate? Getting closer to that round 1 value bet coming to fruition. Katoni Stags, boys.
128 average.
It's just a showmanship, just hanging up for the year. Go into next season's draft with 128 average. That'll get him in the first round. Wouldn't that be a technicality, Simo? Can you imagine?
Yeah, you join some free leagues just to see him taken in round 1 so you can
Redson drafts Ezra Mem first overall.
The biggest Stephen Bradbury win of a bet I'd ever seen.
Oh, mate. And I would be. Katoni Stags Todzer has actually put together a much better SuperCoach season than we're used to. He is averaging 55 and he looks hungry, and the Bronx need to win. Low end claim?
Yes, I think so. I think he should be owned plenty of spots. He should be owned. Very good.
I like him and Cobbo back together, mate. That's when he's done his best work. I think that's pretty lethal for at least a sneaky try assist or two if he remembers to pass. Bunnies versus the mighty Waz. Bunnies off a couple of wins, pre-buys. Waz looking very poor in attack of late. My goodness. I was talking to some of my Warriors mates, Todzer. Boy, is it clunky all of a sudden the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we played a couple of games in the rain. I don't know. I think we'll be fine.
I'll pay that. I think it has been conditions, impacting what's going on. It just hasn't looked great. It's impacted a lot of the try scoring upside of these players. And obviously another one is the wobbly Wade Egan has shown himself again where they're just not hitting attack. So hopefully it all is a get right again. I love seeing Fisher Harris back there for the overall output of the entire team.
Yeah.
Mitch Barnett, mate, with a start at Origin. So maybe the surprise over Terrell May in some capacity. Got to be a little iffy. He's a bit of a warrior. I don't mean that in any way as a pun. It just depends on minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah, like we saw last year when Barney was outrageous last year. Like he was playing that 60-minute role and often get on the edge for 80. So definitely hiked up his average last year, but he was really good. This year, James Mitchell-Harris come along. Barney hasn't had to take on that massive leadership role in terms of being the alpha dog. He's got help now. So I think they are managing him a little bit better with injuries and the whatnot. So, look, I think there even could be a low end, like a sort of a cheeky low buy there on Barney, just in terms of him getting back to that form of last year. It could be a buy. So, yeah.
I love the analysis, but just keen to see if you think he'll back up, though.
Oh, yes, he definitely backs up.
Okay, there we go. That's what.
I thought you wanted some Barney love. I'll give you Barney love, mate.
You're on. I'm a fan of Barney as well. He's rounded into a bit more form pre this first game too, so I think earned at least I thought a bench spot. Still think Colomatungi is better, like in almost every measure personally, but that's just me. Right, Kurt Capewell. We would be on him if he was playing back in the centres. He was hitting upside, left, right, and centre, the kid, but he goes back to the back row, so no good. That's really it. Other than look, his DWZ. I think just wanted to make sure he's a very popular name. You're going to see his name up in big. It always, and the hair flopping around. Without Sean Johnson, are we just going to say, Simo, no good, right?
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? It's just not the same attacking right edge as it was. So, yeah. Yep.
All right.
He'll still get his tries eventually. He's too good a player not to. But
of course,
consistently not good.
Yeah, not that crazy average he had that year. The SJ went bonkers. All right, over to the Bunnies. So some interesting names here that probably would have been dropped. So Simo is going to do the waiverable or not. And if there is someone you think is more mid to high, just give us a bit extra, okay? Alex Johnson.
Nah, I wouldn't waiver.
Agreed. Interesting name for you, Campbell Graham.
Yeah, that's interesting. Really good one, actually, because I was a bee's dick away from putting a waiver in for him as well this morning and then chose not to.
Me too. That's so close.
Actually, I think I had the claim in and then second guessed it. So that's a really good question. The reason why I cancelled the claim was because, people who listen to the show for a long time know we play buys. So seeing that he was 18th man for Origin, I was like, sitting here today, as much as I'm a passionate Queenslander, what do I think will happen is I still think New South Wales will win tomorrow night. If that happens, you imagine that the chances of them changing their team drastically is not very much. So come next bye round, you imagine that Campbell Graham, at least in my the way my mind's thinking anyway, I'd say that he's a red hot chance of maintaining that position in the side. So you'd think he probably gets named 18th man again for game 2. Obviously, that's contingent on a lot of things, and that's just me going off what I think happens. If you disagree with that take, then you're well inclined to that take. So in that case, he probably is a waiver if you think New South Wales lose and, they change the team up. But just for what I think happens, I reckon he stays 18th man and therefore isn't available next bye round. So it changed my thought process drastically. As I said, made me cancel the waiver on him. So really, really good guy for you to have brought up, mate, because there was a lot behind that decision. And that's sort of my reasoning. Why did you cancel your claim or not put one in?
Similar, the 18th man thing. What gave me pause was Burton being rushed in for Critter, though, because I thought about Burton being, in my opinion, you don't get a more perfect 18th man than Matt Burton. He covers everything. That just made me think, oh, shit, what if he doesn't get picked and they change it to Burton? Then you're going to wish you had Campbell Graham. My actual pause is I still don't think this South attack is potent enough. And I think for as good as he looked in the last game for South, I just don't know if he's back to that attacking best. And I think you nailed it earlier in the season when we were discussing him that he might be a really good, cheap draft pick next year that outstrips his position with a better South side.
Yeah, look, I'll put my head up too. Like full disclosure here, like I was more than happy to free agent him, but to waiver, yeah, I wouldn't begrudge anyone yeah, I don't begrudge anyone that waivers him because
I don't know.
yeah, there's still a good player in there, but
I
that
guess.
was just the thought process behind it. So league specific, definitely.
Latrell Mitchell, red hot chance of not backing up, even though Wayne will want him to. I think the full 80-minute game of Origin, a man who's been crazy injury prone, not maybe the fittest bloke going around. I would make sure you have Jai Gray will be out there in most leagues, especially 10-teamers. Just have Jai Gray ready. That's just an easy one. At least they're playing at home as well. The other one, Simo, Jai Arrow is right on that 55 average. He's actually been pretty decent in the last few weeks.
Lo and behold, he goes back to front row and looks bloody great for SuperCoach.
Almost and looks more like an Origin player again. He is still very close to an Origin middle for me. I think he's still a very good player.
He is. He's an out-and-out middle. Like, he's always been a middle. I don't know why they played him on the edge for so long. Is he... he's not the most electric player getting around, but he's still very solid in terms of hit-ups, tackles, offloads, runs. He's, a pretty decent player. Would I waiver? It'd have to be a low end. I'd be needy in the front row, but the fact that he's not playing Origin means he'll be available next buy, so jump on board.
Just quickly, Todd, I've not mentioned this guy for quite a while, but is Tallis Duncan getting closer to 80 minutes on an edge now with the way Kolamatangi's moved in the middle? I know he hasn't looked incredible, but tell me there's hope.
Yeah, there's definitely hope this week. I'm trying to think of the bloke's name that was spelled him last week. Definitely a chance this week with Kolamatangi going through the middle there. I think this is their best looking lineup, and it's the best most healthy they've been for quite some time, minus Cody Walker. So I'll be interested to see how they go. Definitely love the shout for Jai Gray. Tallis Duncan, definitely a sneaky watch.
I think I would just free agent him if you got the space, just to make sure those minutes don't creep up. I feel he's got tackling floor that should translate for 80 minutes to at least 40, you would think, even if he's playing on an edge. And then from there, it's just, does he start showing the promise? So just a pretty strong free agent for me.
Just before we pop on, mate, just want to mention Leka Halasima, probably in a lot of people's 2RF, has been moved back to the bench for Marata Niokore with Barney and JFH back. So one to watch. Leka was coming off the bench before those boys sort of got injured. So, it's sad for him. He's been pretty good, but, he's young.
Sneaky buy low opportunity. I mean, obviously he is a buy low now because he's dropped to the bench. Hasn't been as good real life, fair to say, the last couple of games, Todza. Little bit of drops, few mistakes creeping in.
Yeah, but he's a young. Yeah. Just re-signed him, and Jacob Laird just re-signed too, which is awesome for the Warriors.
Just checking, mate, just on that, do you think then he's a chance of winning this spot back as the year goes on, or is Niokore the man they just Niokore, sorry?
I think they're looking for safety in Niokore, which sounds weird, but he's being sort of kind of safe. Leka's still got a lot to learn, obviously.
Yep. And there's my boy Ali Leotower. So glad I took a punt. Awesome. Love that. Panthers versus the Eels. Boy, do Panthers badly need their players to back up because it is the season of Isaiah Yongi. If you got him on draft day and you patiently sat there or you picked him up as a buy low when he struggled a bit early, Simo, that kid has got game. And I swear, if there's a player Penrith are looking at and going, Dylan, please don't be as close to the end of your career as you may be. I would love if you had a few more years because if you're watching Isaiah Yongi get around the pitch, mate, and you're a Panthers fan, you're like, we don't get him all right. We've got to get him wrong sometimes. He looks amazing.
Saquon Barkley, mate. He's out there.
Please, for listeners who've joined us for the first time, come on. Please give him the quick. Go on.
He's electric. No, it's all good. Just
Simo claims that he looks a little bit like the superstar or MVP running back, Saquon Barkley.
Boy, that is a miss by you, Simo. I've just checked it again. I checked it the first time you said it, and I've checked it again. That is a whiff, my guy. Holy.
Mate, that's on you. You're looking at him enough.
I've looked at Saquon Barkley plenty on something. The Giants fan.
I bet you have.
Yeah, I watched him in that Philly jersey last year. Yeah.
That's so good that you're the Giants fan, Todd. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so good for me.
It's like
Woo!
Simo, just like poking him in his cage, just reminding him of who he supports.
Yeah, now
Actually,
just like
you
a
just-
Yongi.
While we're on NFL, NRL player comps, what about Xavier Savage and Patrick Mahomes? Anyone see it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's better than Yongi and Saquon Barkley.
That's a different stratosphere of decent, Simo, compared to your Yongi and Barkley. Wow. Oh dear. All right, we better get back to it here. Just wanted to bring up Yongi. I just thought he was incredible. So, I don't know what to make of this, guys, because if most of the Panthers don't back up, then I'm all about these Panthers players. Panthers defense has been atrocious with them. So, I don't know. Don't know what to expect. Like, I want to green light the Fox. Samrani's shown a little bit. Lomax is a winger, Todd. Did you know that?
I did, yes.
Did you know that he's told everyone now that he thinks he's a winger?
Oh.
Isn't that good?
Did he come out and say that? Did he?
He's acknowledged that, in fact, his best position, the one where he brained the competition last year, is actually the one that he should play. Isn't that what a stunning revelation?
He's just worked out he can't flick a pass out into the fourth row and on the wing.
It stops him from passing. That's good. Simplify his game. The coach to simplify my game. I play on the wing. Got no one to pass to.
Score tries. Simple.
It's like,
anyway,
like an under 10s when they put the bloke that can't catch it dummy half.
Yes. He just picks it up. I love watching the kiddos when they run in like a pack and just follow each other. Oh, that's funny to watch. But Isaiah Yongi, just excited about him. So I'm just checking the rest of it. Jack Williams, the step, the moves. Tozzy, you get to own this one, mate. You have been on him all season. It's
finally paying some dividends. So Jackie Wills, yeah, he's a guy from the Sharks that I liked. He just needed a bit more game time, and he's getting it. And he has looked really good for the Eels.
They got him in the Pigs, which is good to see. The back row wasn't for him, but it's really worked. Kelma Tuolungi letting us truthers down. I don't know why I'm calling myself a truther. I'm not. I just thought he was a good third 2RF in a bye week. He's been named to start again. I don't know what to make of it. But Jermaine Hop God, is he back? He looked more like the Jermaine Hopgood for the first time. And I'm not even talking about the try. I'm not worried about that. Just the way he was actually moving with the football, maybe starting to get over the back injury, boys. If people out there are not buying in yet, have you got him? I think we spoke to listeners. A trade between you two was part of a big package. But is he now officially in that buy low window where we've seen enough to still get him on the cheap? I'll go to you, Simo, for this one.
No. I'm still not. I'm not interested in Hopgood. I don't. How many I couldn't go there. It's only because it was one luck box in our league, captaining him in another form of fantasy. Got the one try of the year from Jermaine. Yeah,
he just looked better, mate. He looked better.
I don't think I know what you're saying, but it's a one-off game. I'm not going to read into it all that much. Like, it's more the minutes for me. For me, you're needing a 60-minute Hopgood to be back to what he was, and Junior Paulo's playing huge minutes of front row. So is Jack Williams. And they've got Katonga playing 80 on one edge. Like, I just don't see the minute upside for Hopgood. Unfortunately, I'd love for him to be back. I really would, and I'm happy for Toddy to take his win as a buy low because he's bounced back a little bit. But rest of season, I'm still not there.
Okay. I'm on the buy low. I'm not saying spend up as if he's going to be the 65-minute beast, PPM plus beast, but I still think there's a chance. You're saying there's a chance. Joash Papali. Now, I think I love a bit of Joash because he's what we used to pronounce the other two gentlemen as, and he's officially come out and said he likes Papali, not Papali. Brained him in week one. His first game, would be great to see him get a shot somewhere. So just file that one away, drafters. Not a bad option.
You've always seen the video of his old man giving him his jersey.
I didn't actually.
Oh, well worth it. This guy, it was like he had stage on a comedy skit. It was fantastic. He was thanking Jason Rolls and saying how he used to watch him back in the day. It was good, man. Real good.
Good gear. Oh, I love a bit of that. It was kind of the weekend. That's the one thing about having these rookies have their opportunities. You gotta love when the families and the supporters are in there cheering them on, and when they score a try, like how sweet
What
is that?
about VAR from the Roosters try?
VAR. He
Ridiculous.
talk about filing one away for future. Let's just remember when he's due for some minutes, because my goodness, is he
Queenslander.
behemoth. Whew, yeah, boy. Yeah. Geez,
Yeah.
there'd be a chance of a call-up given some of the selections.
He's probably bench spot available.
He's probably pretty close.
Liera got to go. So.
If you New South Welshmen, I just going to say it, if you New South Welshmen don't come up and brain us, you realise the amount of it. You're going to cop more than usual, because this is similar to the Dad's Armies and that of yesteryear. You are supposed to come out and brain us tomorrow night. That's just.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, this is your thing. Oh, you're the underdogs. Even though on paper you just said VAR theoretically should be starting over our starting over someone on our bench. He's played 30 minutes of football. That's how bad it is. Like, come
glass
on.
houses, mate. Glass houses.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never played 30 minutes of football in my life. Riley Smith can come in this week. There's a few hookers on by. Reed Marnie apparently about to be thrown to the dogs, which I think is kind of awesome. He's got a date with Super League coming. His discipline is going to cost the dogs. He's terrible. He has somehow lost the grip on what is the good version of the banter and the good bit of version of aggression, and he is overdoing it.
I think he's been worse in seasons gone by than he has this year.
I think he's been lucky that he timed his run before they cracked down on a lot of the stuff that they're cracking down on now. I think he's a liability. Did you watch his handling on the weekend? I know it was in the wet, but it was diabolical. Like, he played so badly.
Tough. I've seen him play well this year. I think Super League is for blokes like, I can't think of anyone, but that's a bit rough.
You better not say Jacob Little, because I think the Jacob Little might end up being the dog's start. I'm just talking shit. I don't know. Like, good on you, Jacob Little. All right. Moving on forward. Oh, actually, I should ask some questions here about the backups. Dylan Edwards.
He backs up.
Wow. I had him as extremely doubtful. But
It's must win, dude. He has to back up. If any of these Origin players don't back up, they don't care about the year, because they have to win.
Yeah, I'm with Toddy. They have
It's
to play.
must win.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they've got way too much pride. They've way too much big dogs to not go out here and absolutely pump the Eels.
So you think Mr. Tortor will also back up, even though he's come back off a long layoff, will play 80 minutes, will be running the ball back 15 to 20 times?
They have to, dude. Like, what's the alternative? You lose.
Yeah, he comes back and gets injured. Like, as brutal as this sounds, and I know this is 2025 and whatnot, but if you're the Panthers, like, he comes back and gets injured, I mean, so be it. Like, this is your season. Like, he's got the off season to rehab. It's like,
I'm certainly also talking about genuine knocks and corks and things like that as well. So yeah, fair enough. Good logic. I just think the odds of Dylan Edwards as beaten up as he's been this year already, very clearly, the odds of him being able to be fit enough to start this game, I do not think are very high personally. I would be preparing a backup for Dylan Edwards. So I disagree with you boys slightly on that one. Liam Martin, I don't think it would matter how many games he's played. Obviously,
he would play a game at 10 p.m. on Wednesday night if he could.
He absolutely
would. Finish up and just walk over.
Yeah, same with Isaiah Yo. He's just absolute warhorse. Nathan Cleary, I would not count my chickens either. I don't know if you're going to be able to find a pivot option, but my goodness, good luck with that one as well.
Good luck pivoting to Brad Schneider.
Give me some I didn't say the pivots were going to be any good, but that is what it is.
Dylan Lucas's left hip says hello for 3 tries.
Yeah. Mitch Moses, I reckon, is also very doubtful personally. I think he loves getting a knock or something. I'm very nervous watching him play.
I think it was Hawkins. Hawkins just went in there and dominated.
4 try assists, brained him. Had a career game. What a life as a reserve footballer. Back to the extended bench held, son. Thanks for coming.
Enjoy that 21 jersey, mate.
Yeah. Zachy Lomax, I swear he looked injured at the end of almost every game he's played this year with that foot injury. He was limping again most recently. I'd also be nervous, but at least it's CT dub. Roosters versus Raiders. Important game here. Raiders actually looking like the real deal. Tommy Starling doing his best. I don't know what he was trying to do, but it was pretty terrifying. And if he'd actually collected him, he would have got 10 weeks One of the stupidest tackles I've seen in a long time. Would you bring in Owen Paddy this week, Simo, as a replacement for him or any of the other hookers that are unavailable?
Yeah, I would. I think Paddy's a gun. He's going to be a really good player. It just sucks that Levi will siphon some minutes off him. And, yeah, you got to just you're not going to put Paddy in there for the base, but, gee, there's some attack in him. So, yep. I'd be jumping on. Hooker's not a great position as it is, so.
He's got a bit on that Owen Paddy, hasn't he? Have you seen him try and rip a 40-20?
He does. He loves it. He
rip
will
a
try him
40-20
in
out
this
of
game.
30, and it just fell short of righto then. Holy, what a boot.
He'll try him this week too. So I'm with you. I think he's probably the best hooker option. Morgan Smithies lumping his way to your 60s.
Why do we talk
You get on it. He's starting. He's just it's a boring version. And what if you get a twirl moment and he finally scores? I mean, he'll get 100. It'll be crazy. But
tell you what, if he gets over and scores and you voice memo me, I won't be listening to it because he can jog on with Morgan Smithies. Twirl I'm excited about. Smithies, no. Jeez.
No, it'll probably be Smithies crosses the stripe.
Yeah, that's a bit too much for me, actually, mate.
Too much? Muted a little.
Any time Smithies this week, I can already feel it.
I think you're missing the obvious ATS. And if you boys, we're going to have to put at least a small wager on this. Danny Levi ATS is just looming large here, boys. Kid could score.
Jeez, I wouldn't put that on with your money.
Simi Sasangi, thank you for supporting. Mate, as hard as it has been to bet this year, it probably is the kind of bet we need to start doing. You get good luck getting it right at the moment with ATS. It is all over the shop.
Just any betting in general.
Honestly,
I picked the try scorer Jubilee Day
1963.
Last time I picked one, I reckon.
One of your favourite, mate. Simi Sasangi, for those who got on in the buy round, geez, I think he's going to be a guy I'd love. He just looks quite good at the game of football. All right, relevant then over on the Roosters side. Nawaqanitawase back to the wing. Jamal just literally ironed him off like a crosshair and will kick about 25 bombs in this game. So good luck, Mark.
Hell yeah.
Robert Toya, big call for a rookie. I mean, he's pretty young to back up after an 80-minute dressing down he may cop. That's a big call.
Wait.
I guess he's a young man. I think that's a questionable selection. Simo,
how do you reckon he goes, boys? I've heard all week about this. He's the best defensive center in the game because his tackle rate's 94%. You are up against Latrell Mitchell. He is going that first run of Latrell's. I honestly reckon Toya gets knocked out. That's how crazy it could be. It could be nuts.
He'll do the Origin level fend on him. Because remember, playing club footy, they're very big about, stay with the bumpers, stay away from the face. That they think that if they go to a concussion lawsuit, they're like, no, you can't prove it didn't happen in Origin. It's free reign in that. Where we got to give the fans what they want.
Yeah.
I hope he can handle it, Simo, but I am with Todd's. The nerves. He's going to be nervous. Big Trell's going to do him a move. He's going to fend the shitter out of him. Good luck.
No, I'll back him in. He's a gun, Robert.
A gun.
He is.
Right.
I agree. We talk about Trell Mitt.
Yeah, no, it's Latrell's. Latrell will come at him, no doubt about it. The thing with Toya, he just has to understand that Latrell, he's not going to come 15 times like a lot of centers will. He'll have probably 4 or 5 really heavy runs, and Toya's just got to be up to that. It's going to be a hard storm to weather. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's going to be a tough time. I'll back him in.
Fun watch. So fun.
It will. Now to Cal. This is your time to shine, mate. Hope you're still with us, fella. I'm sure you will be. G'day, Cal.
Hey, Cal.
He says, "G'day, lads. Prefer Lucy or Radley?" Victor Radley in his 150th had a game and a half. That is as good as he's played for quite some time. Sticking with our Rooster fan here, Simo. I think it's a very good question because maybe Radley's just found a little bit again.
Yeah, this is a really even question, isn't it? Rest of season, pick your poison, honestly. I think Radley's safer. But I think Lucy's got more upside.
I don't think Radley's safer. I think the in-game concussion risk for me just means I just can't bring myself to start him.
Yeah, I'm not saying safer in that sense. I'm talking about just in what I think he'll do from a SuperCoach perspective. Yeah, I think I'd take Lucy, but it's close.
Both to be owned at this point, though, Todd's all right. I think Radley did show a little bit last week that was interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm on the Radley side, but it's just that it's so close and both should be owned. Yeah,
it's a
good one.
Very popular choice. It is. I think you're looking at two names, and a lot of people are going, geez, I just need to round out my third 2RF spot, which has been a bit tougher than expected. Definitely names on the list for sure. Great question, Cal. All right. Hugo Savala, I have to bring him up because there are those without Nico Hines this week, without Isaiah Katoa, and dare I say it, the soon-to-be ousted Toby Sexton, which I think is very harsh, by the way, for how the Bulldogs play. What are we doing?
Welcome to the Dragons.
Savala? Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Hang on. Here we go. Cal's he's leveled up here for us. G'day and cheers, says Cal. I love he says g'day every time. All about your work, mate. Sorry to complicate things, but what if I add Hopgood and Can't to the equation? Can't, I'll jump straight in and say he's a good free agent stash to see if he starts, but into waivers, you don't need to waiver him. I think Hopgood easily, based on what Todzer and I just said about, if he indeed has a bit looser and he's not as injured, he could be a great one to have right now, mate. I would free agent. I'd burn a number one on Hopgood if it was me. Simo, you were going to disagree, or do you think he's still ahead of Lucy and Radley?
Oh, the fact that I think that it's all pretty even says a lot about where I'm at with Hopgood. Yeah.
Hard burns. Yeah.
I don't even know. I couldn't definitively say I'd rather Hopgood. I wouldn't say that. I think I'd rather Lucy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Good question, Cal. Firing away some good ones tonight, sir. Appreciate you. So Savala, really quick, boys. He did have a big week. He played well. There's not many halfbacks out there. You have got Sam Walker coming back. There's talk of DCE. If Manly keep losing, do they just chop it up and send DCE this year? I don't know. I'm just throwing out options. Is Savala anything here, Tots?
Look, definitely a plug and play this week for those halfbacks that you mentioned, like the Hines and guys who don't back up in even DCE or Cleary. But yeah, rest of season value obviously shot with Sammy Walker being pretty close.
Cal says, thanks again. G'day, Cal. Also burnt by hop shit, but maybe ready to be burnt again. Yes, mate, just like picking up Tommy Turbo in Classic only for him to go down with a cork again. Just, you love it. Absolutely.
Come and join the fire, Cal. Get on the Hopgood train. Shoot, baby.
Just while we're on Savala here, we've got a message from the Baconators on X.
Oh, yes.
The Baconators from Listener League fame. Yep, he says, do you guys have any players that you want to either fail spectacularly or succeed spectacularly? Because I can make it happen depending on who I bring in. Last week I dropped Savala, and the week I drop him, he goes 90
Scored 90. Yep. Oh, you poor guy, the Baconators. That's rough chat. Yeah, I feel for you, mate. I feel for you. Tods will give us a tiny update, wink, wink, nudge, Tods, at the end of this about the Listener League, if we can. That's all right,
look at the Baconators team. Rough drop there, mate.
Rough drop indeed.
Couldn't have dropped any of those other guys.
Yeah, with the dual eligibility, can be owned. Roosters also have elite buy coverage. Like, I think Sammy Walker, you might at least get round 15 out of him, I would say. Be pretty close. All right. That's the end of the matchups this week. It is a tough week, gentlemen, with those extra extended benches, those rules that are, there's a couple extra named. It does mean that they're not all going to play. So we just tried our best today to give you some advice on who we think might be a bit iffy, but it is far from perfect science. So just be prepared, listeners, I think is the best thing. Questions from X, please, Mr. Simo.
Yeah, we read the one there from the Baconators. Bit of a regular now. Saran has got a couple here.
Yes, Saran.
Been holding Sammy Walker. There's no other halfbacks. Is he still worth a hold?
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
He's a time to go get him rather than a drop. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Next one, will Zach Hosking come good? Hasn't exactly been quite as good as he was at the start of the year.
Yeah, he's around the ball near the try line quite a lot. He's like a slightly better base stat than Nane for mine. He's there up for kicks. He sort of hovers around 60 odd minutes guaranteed until Nicholson's back. If people are getting cold feet, I'd be all about buy low there.
Todd Mann?
Yeah, I couldn't add anything more. That's pretty much how I feel as well.
Pretty obvious one here. He's got Api Coruscant on his waivers. Worth a shot.
Yes.
An 80-minute Api Coruscant jumps up into the top 5 hookers overnight. It's a crazy scenario that he wasn't getting the minutes at the time. They need him playing minutes.
And the last one, I might go to you, Toddy. What do you think Fodawaker will average rest of the season?
55.7. Somewhere around that. 55 with upside every now and then.
Fair.
Yeah.
No harder. That's it from X, boys.
Good stuff. Todd's anything from the Book of Face, old son?
Absolutely no love on the Book of Face this week, mate. So
sorry, I forgot one.
Okay, back to you, Simo.
Putting his own questions in, old Simo.
It is anonymous. It is anonymous.
From a S. Iman.
Yeah.
Why is Simon so great? He is amazing. Yeah, go.
From a S. Barkley lookalike.
Oh, my God. G'day, Isaiah Yogi. How you doing? He's our number one fan, by the way. Yep.
Fair enough, too. Yeah, anonymous on X is Viliami Vilea. What do we think? He's picked him up hoping that he starts to show something. Is he getting picked up in our comps? He's up against James Schiller, Jenkins, Kohler in terms of guys he might start over him. So I guess how would you rank Viliami Vilea against Schiller, Jenkins, and Kohler?
Kohler won easily.
Kohler. Well, yeah, on the Schiller and Jenkins. This week, I'd rather Jenkins.
He's only going to pick one every week. They're the options for his fourth sticky dub.
Tolu Kohler. Well, he's looking good.
Kohler's hard not to start at the moment because he's just around the ball. He looks slightly bigger as well. If you boys have noticed this.
Yeah, he does.
But what about Vilea in general? Like, what's your take on him?
It's one of those things. If he was playing, it's like even comparing him to a Schiller or a Jenkins, sorry, Schiller or Jenkins. If he was playing on a wing, I'd say he's got skills, but I just don't know about the upside playing in centers. But I have seen what the listener has in that he looks actually good real life.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. That's pretty much how I feel about him too. I think I would start, Kohler, even Schiller, I think. That's where I would have him too, probably third in there.
I think we're really sleeping on Thomas Jenkins here, though. I really do. There's a very real possibility that Alamotti comes back and plays center because they're running Casey McLean there.
He's awful.
Yeah.
Did you watch him again on the weekend? Just bomb like 2 or 3 tries, not pass. What is he doing?
He's first grade awful. I think he's trying too much.
What is he doing? Why does he not pass? There was at least one that was literally just a walkover try on the weekend against our boys. Dummied and got tackled and lost it over the line. I
think in Rezzy's, he's been that superstar that's just run over people, and in younger grades, he's going around people. He's been bigger and stronger than everybody. I think once he's got to NRL, he's realized he needs to start realizing that he's not going to do that.
I do like that you corrected yourself there because he's so far from realizing it's not funny.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
The sooner he does that, the better.
Jenkins now is actually just not expecting it. I watched him. Jenkins the other day, so just gently trotted back.
Well, I know the play you're talking about, Redford. Like Jenkins was just
stroll over. Like literally he could have jogged over the line and run around to the center of the post. It was crazy. Yeah.
Last little bit of this question is on that note: is Schiller tradable or is he under the Sisawanga line?
Yes, boy, he is firmly under the Sisawanga line. Unfortunately,
that's one for Redford. Yeah, he's well under it. He's well under.
He's under. Again, pretty decent real life player. Just until the Knights' attack becomes more prolific, I don't think you're too hype about any of them, to be honest.
But you don't have to drop him in the Cisa-Wanga line because Knights they covered the bye, so you don't have to worry about it. Just start him.
This is excellent. Cal is on fire with some questions. Cal, if I can throw another more spicy one into the mix, Ponga or Turbo rest of season? I absolutely love this question, and I'm going to go to you first, Mr. Todd.
Ponga. Ponga, yeah, Ponga.
Ponga as well. Yep.
I'll make it a trifecta. I can't get on Turbo, and he's even getting corks now. Cal does said like Turbo's bye coverage a lot, but these injuries seem to keep coming. Yeah, the bye coverage is elite, but can you rely on him to be there? And the problem is, if he brains it, as we've said over these few weeks, what's the chance he gets picked in round 18 and you lose your bye coverage anyway? So
it's just more how Tommy's looked, unfortunately. Like, yeah, and yeah, like Lehigh nearly scored, so Tommy would have scored a lot better. But from just a real life perspective, he doesn't look quite where he was. So I think I'd just be more confident in Ponga coming back and finishing the year, first of all. Quite a good question, though, because they were...
Turbo versus Iongi, boys. Like, where's the line where you would draw for Turbo?
I'll stick with Turbo, but that's about the range. You're starting to get, Turbo versus Bula. Yeah, that's starting to get pretty close. Turbo versus Hammer. He's in that sort of range. I still think I'd rather Turbo over all the guys you just said, but that is starting to get quite close for me.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Here's a good one, given again the round 26 bye coverage, or bye. Latrell versus Turbo.
That's not even close.
I've got Turbo easily. I don't think it's even that. I think it's not close for that reason.
Trail mid all day.
Okay.
What are you, Simone? Turbo or trail mid?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably. Probably.
If you get offered that straight up, Simo, you take Turbo, I reckon.
Probably, yeah. It's really close though. It's not instant snap. No way. I'd hate to get off it.
I couldn't agree more because I'd second guess the shit out of myself. But Jesus, Trelmet, you run out of weeks to offer us something for SuperCoach. Hurry up.
Yeah.
One last one there in that range.
With just to Toddy's point, Latrell coming back from Origin, once he can sort of focus on Souths a lot more, I think the SuperCoach points will come back. No Cody Walker, we've said a few times, has been massive for Latrell, and Cody should be back in a couple of weeks. So still very optimistic on Latrell rest of the way.
You can see what I mean, though. Running out of time and then misses round 26 is kind of a shit combo. I actually hate that. Gutho versus Turbo?
Gutho.
Yeah.
That feels gross to say.
It does, but it's true.
I dislike that so much.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not there.
I know you're not bringing yourself around on the Gutho season, are you?
No, I would never. If I own Turbo and is offered Gutho, I'm not taking it. So
yeah, no, I'm not either, dude. I'd rather die on the Turbo Hill, I think.
I think you're already getting an 80 average from Gutho, which I just don't really think is going anywhere. It is what it is. They're that bad in attack. It's all him. I take Gutho.
I did not enjoy that, by the way.
No, I'm surprised you went there, but I'm more confident with that one. All right, that's all from us tonight, listeners. It's been good fun getting deep into the well. There are lots of options there for your waivers. Too many to really list because you're going to have league-specific drops that happened last week. Get amongst those players that we've said are in the no doubt a waiverable range. That's why we went there this week. Fire away any questions, obviously, on the page after this if you feel you need to as well. But, Simo, thank you for your expertise tonight, mate. Been a pleasure.
No, mate, thank you. Glad we could get on eventually with the old technical issues and putting the kids down and shit like that. So, yeah, no, good to have a chat. And, hopefully tomorrow night is a good game no matter which way it goes, you just want to hope that there's no injuries and good game of footy.
No Joseph Swallies would be nice too.
Oh, you just say, you don't want suspensions coming out of Origin.
No, thank you. None of that.
Who do you think won
What's
that?
up?
Boy, I just want to go quickly, just before we go. Who do you think won that? Rugby Australia or NRL? The swap, Nawani Tuasi for Joseph Sawali. Who do you think gets the better of that? I think, obviously money-wise, NRL does. But, who do you think wins that?
It's pretty easy, low-hanging fruit would to say that Nawani Tuase, A, has been fit, so we've been able to see his impact. And then B, we're league fans, so we've enjoyed watching him, right? So I don't watch a lot of rugby. Swally still has been plucked at the prime, well before he even hits his prime, and I still think he's outrageously talented. So I still think I'll go with the Swali side, and obviously Nwangi Tawaze has got to stop dropping the high ball because it's not a little bit of a problem, Simo, as a Roosters fan. It's a big problem. He flaps at the high ball.
Well, he can make great. He makes the amazing catches, but then he drops the routine ones, and that's obviously not good for a winger. But because he can look really confident, like the ones he does when he does take it, like you fly up and
amazing,
and look really acrobatic, but he doesn't have to be that flashy with it. Unfortunately, he'll be right. Like he's too skillful, Mark, to not correct it. Like he's just a gun.
I would reckon so, and he has that. He has the BDE just coursing out of his veins. And he's a Jesus Todzer. Is he a specimen of a man as well? He is jacked.
He's a big boy.
It's
that Fiji in him, bro.
Mate, I want him to be the better of the two. Don't get me wrong, because I hate that Swally left our game. Shit house. I loved watching him play for the Roosters, and he just started to come into his own as a rep play. He looked fantastic as a centre, I thought. So,
yeah, interesting one. Good one to watch over the next few years.
Bloody getting on the Cal fantastic question bandwagon there, Todd. That was a ripper of a question, mate. I enjoyed that.
Sometimes, mate, my little pea brain has some things to say, and that has come out,
There's nothing little about your peen, mate, I'll tell you. All right. Todza, thank you for bringing the sexy.
Cheers,
and, mate, as you've said, some quality insights from the kids
Lovely.
tonight.
It's always fun being here with you boys, so go to Blues.
And a late mention for Simo's number one fan, the man himself, Razzle, has been there quietly in the background, perving on Simo.
Oh, very good, the Razzle. Yep. Good man.
Yep. Seems like a collared shirt on for your Razzle. You spiced it up this week, mate.
Good on you, Razzle. Thanks for joining us, mate. Yeah. All right, listeners, thank you to those who've joined in. Enjoy your Origin this tomorrow night. And obviously, we've got a weekend of footy up and coming. And as always, listeners, get that BDE India or you